Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about those campaigns, November 6th. Oh, today's the 4th. Huh. This morning I did think about it, all those elections where you have knowledge of a court order that didn't have an actual court record and didn't have an arrest record, and you decided that we had to wait until after the election to remove it. Oh. Now, missing and abducted children for 7 years and 4 months. I sent you over 2 million emails. Oh, I documented forgery and fraud, and you thought it was more important for you to get elected to office than to enforce the laws of the United States. Exactly why did you think that? Your election was more important than the law. Well, why don't you just tell me each and every congregation that you decided that you needed to speak to a group of persons that might be swayed, yes, into voting for you for office? Now, it might not be your personal congregation. Oh, I know a lot of politicians, they like to speak to large groups of persons, right? And they were sure that when using a church, yes, to talk to the population, I know there's not a pastor in the United States that actually uses the pulpit to influence the voters of their own congregation. There is what's known as separation of church and state, yes. Now, somebody had once said, we know who we vote for, don't we? As a congregation, but I'm not of the popular denomination. Now, a lot of pastors have gone the way, and they said, well, we've got to support for election. Is it Democratic? You're a very liberal congregation. Ouch, ouch. You didn't decide to use the pulpit of Christianity to be able to promote any individual candidate for office. We haven't really been stringent on the actual enforcement of pastors using the pulpit to influence the voters. But I'm one of those American citizens because there could be a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit in this. See, I've heard it preached behind the pulpit. Coach. That pastors like to politicize, yes, their political views, yes, to their congregations about who we know we are going to vote for. Now, they act like they never talk about politics, but I've known pastors that got very political right around campaign time. Oh. I've known of pastors that get political when there is a campaign. Oh, no. Now, let's say, okay, you're one of these pastors. Yes, you invited in a local congressman, coach, or a candidate for House of Representatives. Yes, a fire commissioner. And you thought, well, we can use the pulpit as long as it's not one of these religious services. Now, the way of doing things, yes, is you invite a candidate for office, one of these governors. How's the doctor? How's a real estate mogul? Pooch! And you say, well, we'd like you to talk to our congregation. We're one of these mega churches. Yes! I'm really feeling the way this morning. I wonder why that is. Seems to be no separation of church and state. Now, I know you didn't make a donation to the congregation to help support the building. Are there any politicians that did get a tax deductible receipt for a congregation that's not their own because they had a political message? Why don't you get me the tax deductions of every candidate for office for the last, 40 years, and then the actual GPS location of the employees of the churches that they spoke to? And then I just wanted to know, of all of those that are ordained in the denomination, ministers, preachers, reverends, preachers, every priest of Catholicism that thought, we want you to talk to the congregation. You did not receive any remuneration, no gift from those that care. I'm just looking at the campaign contributions of any and all ordained individuals that didn't let you talk to the congregation as a way to reward you for running for office. Now, when we look